Hello class 9 student. Today I am going to continue about the chapter of Moamoriya rebellion. In the last discussion we discussed about the first phase and the second phase of the rebellion. In the first phase, it is because of the humiliation by the Kriti Chandra, the disciples Nahar Khora and Raghamoran had demanded for the revolt, open revolt to the Mahanta, and the Mahanta, finding it was a relevant time to start the rebellion, started the rebellion. But after the rebellion, the Ahom monarchy was overthrown by the Moamoriya, and one of the Moamoriya disciples was put into the throne of the Ahom. They started to rule over Ahom, but slowly they started to quarrel for power among themselves, and this time was the advantages was taken. The time of this of the quarreling of the Mohammedans, the Ahoms pro-Hon groups took the advantages of this time, and they attacked by taking the help of a Manipuri prince Kurangayani and started the and defeated the Mohammedans. Later, the Ahoms were able to take out the throne of the Ahoms. Then again, due to the king's atrocities done to the Mohammedans again raised their voice in the revolt, and they hatched a conspiracy to kill the king. But it was the effort of the prime minister of the then time of Ahom, that is, his name was Ghansham Buragohain, who strategically got the scent of the rebel, and before entering in the capital, the rebels were chased away by the army of the Ghansham Buragohain, and thereby ending the second phase of the rebellion. But still, the simmering fires were going on into the heart of the Moammoriyas, and the the fire for revenge was still very much alive. And there, the opportunity of starting another revolt came in the beginning of 1786. These Moammoriyas join hand with another group of people, that is Dafala Bahatiyas. Remember this one, Moammoriyas as a group of people, religious group of people. Dafala Bahatiyas was also in a community, another community. These Moammoriyas together with Dafala Bahatiyas, they again revolted against the Ahom. In several confrontations, they defeated the Ahom royal army and almost reached the capital. As they reached the capital, that was on 19 January 1788, Sargado, in those times the king was Sargado Gorinath Singha. Sargado Gorinath Singha, before getting caught under the hand of Moammoriyas, he left his capital for Guwahati. That his capital was at Jorhat, and he came to Guwahati. The Moammoriya captured the capital and established a relative of the Mahantas, Bharat Singha. This time, remember that is in the third phase. In the first phase, Ramakanta was put into the throne. In the third phase, Bharat Singha was put in the throne. As by this time, the Moammoriyas were successful in defeating the Ahoms and started to rule over the country on their own. It must be mentioned here that in the meantime, a significant changes has taken place in the Ahom administrative system. Ahom administration was changed. You see, from the first phase, that is go to the second phase, and as it goes, it is continued toward the third phase. The Moammoriyas were well acquainted about their defeat during the first phase, and till the third phase came. During this period, some changes were brought upon in the administrative system, and this administration were not known properly by the Mohammedans. Though the Moamoriya captured the capital and established Bharat Singh into the throne, here due to the different types of administration and after the death of Ghanshyam Buragohain, his son Larry Gohain became the Buragohain. Ghanshyam Buragohain died and his son Larry Gohain became the. This Larry Gohain came to be known as a famous Purnananda. Be careful of the spelling. Purnananda. Purnananda. Otherwise, many of the students in the previous years, they have made mistakes in writing the spelling. They forgot to write one set of NA. So remember this one. So after the death of Ghanshyam Buragohain, Larry Gohain became the Buragohain. This person is famous known as Purnananda Buragohain. Buragohain is not a name. Is not a title of the particular name of a person. Buragohain is the title given to that person in regards to administrative job, in regards to administrative power. And here Buragohain means the prime minister of a kingdom. This person is famous as Purnananda Buragohain, whose courage, valor and devotion to duty has always attracted students of history. Though Purnananda Buragohain, his activity you can understand later after in the next chapter, in chapter 4. It can be said that though he was very strict in his nature, he was patriotic for his own kingdom, and his valor, the history of his valor is well debated by the students of history. With a small army, the Buragohain tried his best to protect the rest of the king. He had a small army, and he tried to protect the kingdom. For security reason, he had to retreat right up to Jorhat, where later on he established the Ahom capital. It is because after the activity of Purnananda Buragohain, the capital was established at Jorhat for security reason. But before, where was the capital of Ahom? It was Saraido. So many people unable to tolerate the Moamoriya excesses. You see, always remember that one. In the first phase, when the Moamoriya were ruling over, after the first phase of rebellion, when the Moamoriya took over the throne, they start ruling over, and they started to torture the common people, and they forced the common people to join the Moamoriyas. And in this regards, they had tried to fight against each other for power. So in this time, again, the Moamoriyas started to put pressure on the common people to join them, and these common people were unable to tolerate the Moamoriya excesses. In order to save themselves, they were joining, but this Purnananda Buragohain somehow managed to stop them from doing such a thing. He trained the villagers about what? About warfare. In warfare, that means how to fight, and send them to battle against the Moamoriyas. Here the common people, some of the common people, few communities were again fighting against the Moamoriyas now. It is says that in this time of great peril, the Buragohain protected the subjects. How? Like a father, and like a father protected like a father to his children, or like a bird who protect her fledglings under her wings. Whether reality atrocities or Moamoriya atrocities in the clashes, do you know who suffered a lot? In between these two fighting, Moamoriyas and Ahoms, who were fighting against each other, that is the fighting of the titans, which is termed in the history, in your history book. It was the common people who had to endure great suffering. The common people were suffering. When these two groups of people that were fighting, the common people were suffering. And the common people started to abandon their homes. Why? Because they were unable to tolerate the atrocities done by the Mohammedans and also the Ahoms. The abandon of homes, hut and cultivated resulted in a great famine. In those times, famine occurs. No food for the people because the people stopped to cultivate their land, and it was very difficult to cultivate their land now. So, taking advantage of this pitiable condition of the Ahom monarchy, many big and small revolts began to rise. You see, Ahom is a kingdom, a great kingdom, and this kingdom has been divided into several small kingdoms, and these kingdoms were ruled over several small kings, tributary king, which we call as tributary king. Like nowadays, the state government and the central government. The central government is the Ahom kingdom, and the state government belonging to tributary like Dorang king, the king of Dorang, the king of Kamrup. So in this way, taking advantages of this rebellion, of this pitiable condition of Ahom monarchy, at that time the Ahom monarchy were reduced to power. They became weak, and taking advantage, the tributary kings started to revolt. They refused to pay tributes to the Ahoms. There in Kamrup, one person named Haradatta Chaudhary. Haradatta Chaudhary of Kamrup, by securing the service of the Barkandes, paid soldier, Barkandes, remember. Barkandes is paid soldier. That means the soldiers can be, the service of the soldiers can be taken by paying to them. So these people were called as Barkandeses. These people were invited from Bengal and declared, Haradatta Chaudhary declared revolt against Ahom monarchy. So in Upper Assam, a Moamoriya leader called Sarbananda Singha, who started revolt. Here, in this way, in Upper Assam, the local ruler, Upper Assam, Kamrup, Darang, and almost the smaller kingdoms started to revolt against the Ahom monarchy, and they started to declare themselves independent. Ruler and minted coins of in their minted coins. Sarbananda Singha minted, that means made coins of his own name. Thus, as a result of such a various big revolt, huge and torturable revolt, the Ahom kingdom was shattered. It broke into pieces. Thereby, later the Ahom kingdom were unable to tolerate the atrocities and the defeat and their own defeat, which were started by the Moamoriya leaders and also the other tributary kings, and thereby the Ahom kingdom sought help from another power, that was the British. In those times, the Indian subcontinent, the whole part of Indian subcontinent was ruled over the British. But till then, the British were not inside the Ahom kingdom. And remember that it is the Ahom kingdom which was the last, a great kingdom, which was the last brought under the Ahom administration later after. It was the last kingdom. So the British thought that Ahom kingdom was not included in Assam, was not included in India. It was not a part of India. But later, when the British got the chance to take over, in next chapter you will understand that how the British took over the administration of the country. Though the British knew about the happenings of the Ahom monarchy, what were going on, they used to take the information, each and every information of the activities of the events that has been formulated during the time of the Ahom rule. Thereby they were well acquainted about the Moamoriya rebellions and also the rebellion of the local rulers. It is after the Ahom king who were shattered and they were helpless and became so weak. This Ahom king now sought the help of the British, and the British got the chance to enter Assam for the first time. And though the British suppressed the rebel, but the eye of the British, the greedy eye of the British were upon the resource of Assam. So this we will learn later after the third phase, how the British came as was invited by the Ahom king, and later how the British were able to suppress the revolt of Moamoriya and put the king into the throne. For the time being, thank you, and I hope so you will understand. If you don't understand, you can ask me the question in the next class.